Unlike any other frameworks, keeping your code clean and maintainable becomes even more true in case of Flutter, because in Flutter we write logics and UI code in the same language, Dart. By doing so, the business logic mixes up with the UI code. On one hand, it can be nice to build an app with Flutter quickly because Flutter boosts the development process. On the other hand, larger projects start falling apart when we mix up the business logic with the UI code. And then even best state management solutions like BLoC or Cubit are not sufficient to allow for easily extendable codebase. So now let's take a look what we are going to build. We are going to build this Instagram application in this series. First, let's go to the profile page and log out this already signed in user to check out this application from scratch. So we have this sign in page and also the sign up page. So if the user is already created, so we can directly put the credentials here, which will be our email and password. And if the user is not created in the database, so we will sign up. So first, let's take the picture from the gallery and write your credentials here. You can also make visible the password by clicking this. You can also make it invisible. After this, just press this sign up to sign up the user. This will take a while and our user is signed into the application, and there are some posts of that user. First, let's go to the profile page to explore this. We have the username and the name and the bio. So let's try to edit the profile of the user. Press this and go to the edit profile tab, and from here we can change our profile. Press this and select an image. Let's select this dark image and let's specify your name, which will be our developer, and our username is eTechViral, and we can also change our bio. Let's also make it only professional and press this done. So our user profile is updated. You can see now the profile is dark and the bio is also changed. So that's how we can change our profile. Now let's go to this tab to post an image. So press this upload and take an image. Let's take this and write some description. This is Jenny Motion, and try to upload it by clicking this arrow. This will say uploading when the post is uploaded. So this will navigate back us to this page. Now check the home page. So our post is uploaded. You can see it here. This is our description. We just type in the description field. So from here we can interact to our post. When you click this menu, we can either delete or update our post. First, we will try to update this post. We can change this description. Let's only make it this, and also try to change the image of it. Let's again select this image and press this done. This, and our post is updated now. And we can also like our post just like this with this beautiful animation of like, and when we again do this, so it will unlike the post. And we can also like the post from here also when we click this favorite icon, and on that when we tap it back, so this will again unlike. So let's try to comment on this post. There is already an comment. Let's try to do another one. Let's say this is comment and try to post it, and there is our comment. Now it's posted now. And let's also try to reply this user. This is reply and also post it. So we also can reply to the comment, and we can like this reply and also the post, and we can delete this reply and also the comment just like this. Now go back and try to delete this post. Delete post and simply press this yes. So the post is deleted. Now you can see there is no post which we have posted in a while. So let me show you one more thing. Let's go to this search page, and there will appear all the posts of the users. From here we can see the post. When we press this, we are navigated to the post of the user. From here we can like the post also and unlike it, and also go to the user profile. We can follow the user and also unfollow the user. And one more thing, when in the search we type the name of the user, we can locate the user profile also like this when we search his name in the search. So we are going to build this application in this series. This will be really a huge application on the clean architecture, and you also can go at your own pace. Before going forward, let me introduce you to the clean architecture of Robert C. Martin, which is so called our friendly Uncle Bob. According to his clean architecture, we all should separate code into independent layers that will depend on abstractions but not on the concrete implementations. You will see this diagram in front of you, but that diagram didn't tell so much, and that's a bit abstract, we can say, like what are these gateways, presenters and the controllers. So now the question arises actually how we can make things clear in Flutter specific. So let me introduce you to the Coder clean architecture. If you have watched his series of test driven development, so you may be familiar with this diagram. So if you didn't watch, that's not going to be an headache for you, because here is A.D Developer. I am determined. I will explain everything bit by bit to you. And with this, we will use this architecture on a bit different way that will not be really identical to the Coder's architecture. That will be, but not that much. So our project structure will be divided into 3 different layers. That will be presentations, domain and the data layer. And let's start from this presentation layer. But before this, let's move to the Android Studio and let's start creating these 3 layers in our lib directory. So we will create a directory here, or a package that's name will be features first, and inside these features there will be 3 more packages or directory. Name will be presentation. So we have created the presentation directory, so it comes like this. So if you have just like this, so you can change it from here, just on top that menu button, and just uncheck this compact middle packages. So it will become just like this. So now we will create another package inside this features, that will be our domain, and last will be the data. So that will be our 3 layers, which is presentation, domain and the data. And again move to our clean architecture to see that more clearly. So we will start from this presentation layer. So in this layer, it's clear that we need widgets to display something on our screen, and that widgets will be our pages or our custom widgets. And then the widgets flow come to these presentation logic holders. Like from these widgets, we will trigger some events that will listen to the state or something equivalent if you are not using the BLoC or the Cubit. So we use these BLoC and change notifier, mobx and qubits just to separate the business logic from our UI code, because in Flutter the UI code and the logic is in the same language, which is Dart. So everything mixed up when we don't use these state management solutions. But in this clean architecture, that the state management solution that can be anyone like mobx, change notifier, BLoC or qubit, that will not going to hold too much logic, but that will delegate their work to the use cases, which is in the domain layer. So now what are the use cases? Let me show you what are the use cases of the application. Like open this emulator, when we come to this home page, so it get all the posts. So that was one of the use case to get the all post. And when we double tap on this post, so it liked the post, so that was also an use case, which first come to the presentation holders, a state management solution, and we called that method in our widgets on our page, just like this. So that was our use cases and our presentation layer like this. Now let's move to the domain layer. Domain is the innermost layer which will only contain the core business logic that are our use cases and business objects that are our entities. And again, it will be totally independent of any other layer, but other layers will be dependent on this layer because there will be all the abstractions and the contract classes. What are these contracts and abstractions? That will be explained in a while. So in the domain layer, the use cases will be the classes that will encapsulate the business logic of the specific use case of the app. Like I show you in this application, this like use case only encapsulate the logic of the like use case of this application. And the same is for getting this post and getting these comments. Now there is no comments, so it shows this circle be the first, and when we comment here like good and post this comment, it get that comment. So this is one of the use case. So when we were posting this, so it was also one of the use case to post the comment. So go back and minimize this. So in the domain layer, if you look at the repository in the domain layer with its fancy gradient, it's at the edge between data and the domain layer and is getting data from the repository which is located in the data layer. Now you might be thinking how domain is independent if it's getting data from the repository which is located in the data layer. So there comes our dependency inversion. As I said earlier, in the domain layer there will be all the abstractions and the contract classes. So in our repository class, which will be in the domain layer, there will be the contract that what the repository must do in the domain layer, and its implementation will be in the data layer to fulfill that contract. As said in the solid last principle, the boundaries between the layers should be handled with interfaces. So in our case, these interfaces are our abstract classes. So the abstract class will be inside the domain layer and its implementation will be inside the data layer. So with this understanding of our domain layer, so let's go to the Android Studio for a while. First create the directories inside this presentation. That will be our Cubit, because we are going to use the Cubit as a state management solution. That's the subset of the BLoC. And the next directory will be our pages in the presentation and will be the widgets, just like this. So that was our presentation layer, and the for domain layer, that will be the repository, use cases and entities, just like this. Now again move to the clean architecture structure, and the only remaining part is the data layer. The data layer is that how the data will be gotten from the outside and how it will be managed and all that stuff. So that data layer consists of the repository implementation, which is the contract in the domain layer, and the implementation will be inside the data layer. And there is the remote data source and the local data source. In our case, our remote data source will be the Firebase Cloud Firestore, because we are not going to use any REST APIs, but we have our Firebase Cloud Firestore. And the local data source is for caching data locally in the local storage. And this repository will be the place where we will decide when to return the real data or already cached data. And the local data sources are also where you would have GPS, location and some local database and all that stuff. And that repository will be the brain of the data layer that will tell the data layer that what to do and when to do. And its contract class will be in the domain layer. Now look at these models. The data sources are returning the models instead of these entities. But why is that? Well, the reason behind this is that the transformation of the data, like from JSON to Dart objects and from Dart objects to JSON, or also in our case from snapshot to Dart objects and so on. So if you are familiar with Firebase, these snapshots will be the document snapshot which will be converted into Dart objects just to read them, as simple as that. Therefore, inside the data layer, we will create the models that will be the subclasses of entities that will extend from these entities, which are our business objects. And inside these models, there will be some functionalities, as I said, from JSON to JSON or from snapshot, just like this. So with this, what that call flow means? It means on our UI in the presentation layer, when we triggered some events, so that flow comes to the presentation holders, presentation logic holders, the use cases, and that the repository which is in the domain layer. It is a contract, it is implemented in the data layer, and then it is connected with the remote data source, and in the remote data source implementation there is the real implementation of the method. So that call flow directly comes from top to bottom, and here that real implementation methods triggered and the action is performed on the presentation layer or our UI. You will see this practically later in the upcoming videos. And again, let's go to the Android Studio to create the structure for this data layer also. So inside this data layer, we are going to have data sources, models, and the repository. Inside this repository, which is in the domain layer, there will be contract class and its implementation will be here inside the repository, which is located in the data layer. So we got this structure of the folders in our Android Studio, and that's looking nice, not it? And with this, we will begin to code from this presentation layer, because first we are going to design the UI, then we will go to this domain layer to start the abstraction, and then the real implementation, which will be in the data layer. Conventionally, if we look, we should start from this domain layer, which is the innermost layer, but first I thought we should start from this presentation layer, as this is a huge application and there will be lots of complexities in our application. So when we design the UI first, then go to the domain layer, so it will be more clear to you that for what that entity is and for what that use cases is, just like this. So it will be more clear to you when we first design the UI, then go to the backend stuff. And that is the architecture, which is the secret behind the maintainable apps in Flutter. We are completely separating the business logic from the UI. Our pages will be inside this and widgets, and our business logic will be inside this Cubit, but this Cubit will not going to hold lot of logic, but that will delegate its work to the use cases, and that all layers are interdependently connected. And again, remember, you also can go at your own pace. And that was it for the video. In the next video, we will start building the UI. So not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified whenever the new video is uploaded. For now, goodbye, and I will see you in the next video.